Big Rab Show Podcast is kindly sponsored by G1 Reeds. They are the champion's choice, with many bands around the world playing G1 products, providing everything you'd need to hit the circle or the big stage. So, check out g1reeds.com as they keep the lights on here at the Big Rab Show Podcast. Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another Big Rab Show podcast. How are you, folks? Hope you're all keeping rightly out there in podcast land. And I don't know, the weeks just seem to fly past at the minute. I don't know what's going on, but it seems to be as soon as I've pressed upload on one episode, then we're right into working into the next episode. And this one's a good one. You might have guessed by the title of this week's episode who we're going to be talking to in Topic of the Week. And we'll get to that later on in the show. But first of all, let's get through our introductions then, shall we? If this is your first ever Big Rab Show podcast, then you are welcome. We are the show for the bagpiping folk. We reflect everything in the bagpiping world, be it Celtic music, folk music, or indeed our bread and butter, which is competitive piping and drumming. Each and every week we're here talking about what we know and love to be the music of the Great Highland Bagpipe and its people. And yeah, like every other podcast under the sun, we do have a Patreon. Yep, there's a link in your show notes right now, no matter where you're listening to us. And feel free to click on it. There's loads of great extras back there, including, well, you might have already got an exclusive early access to this interview that we're about to get into this week. Yeah. Plus loads of others, kind of backstagey things from the St. Lawrence O'Toole gig and that's kind of cool. Exclusive interviews, performances, other stuff that just never really sees the light of day and is exclusive only to Patreon supporters. Also, of course, if you do manage to miss our weekly Fuse FM Ballymoney radio show, which is 2 hours live every week, well, yeah, you can go and listen again on Patreon, where you can download it, take it with you, and catch up with all the shenanigans we were up to on Fuse FM last night. It was fun, let's say that. It was such a good show, yeah. We ran through some of the performances from Enniskillen, from Moira, even from the Mid-Ulster Championships as well. We've been kind of doing a bit of a... Yeah, we've been looking back over the last 3 weeks of competition here in Northern Ireland, and it was great to do a bit of a retrospective. But we're also looking forward to competitions to come, and of course, this weekend in Antrim. Yes, we'll get into all of that. And of course, the All-Ireland Championships, which are the week after. So, yeah, that's a lot to talk about too, isn't it? Anyway, so yeah, last night in Fuse, a lot of fun. If you did happen to miss it, it's up there now on Patreon. Shout out to our Patreon faithful. You guys are awesome. Go and check it out, definitely. All right, well, that's our introductions out of the road. Well, with each and every episode, we do open the door to listener mail, and this week's no different. Our email address has never changed, bigrabshow@gmail.com. That address again, bigrabshow@gmail.com. Now, a lot of the emails that we've been getting in have been doing, well, I don't know, kind of setting things up for future episodes, okay? Now, we are still working behind the scenes and recording a lot of our Meet the Band series. If anything, we've recorded a lot of them just over the last few days. And, some of the stories of these bands that we've been meeting are absolutely fascinating. So, we did give you a flavour in the last couple of episodes there. There was a couple of Meet the Bands that you can catch up on to give you a bit of an idea as to what the what the feel of them are. Yeah, we caught up with Uddingston Strathclyde and with St. Joseph's Clondalkin. If you didn't catch those 2 episodes, go back, have a listen to them, kind of give you a bit of a flavour as to what our Meet the Band series is all about. And I think since those episodes released, well, it's kind of opened the floodgates. A lot of pipe bands were going, hey, this is a good thing. This is not Rab shining a torch in our face and making us talk. No, it's a conversation to hear your band's story. And yeah, we're hearing some really interesting tales of pipe bands I don't believe that the piping scene are aware of. So I've been finding them fascinating myself, learning a lot about a lot of competitive pipe bands out there. And yeah, we do hope to bring more of these to future shows. Now, as you can imagine, we're about to get into the thick of the season right now with the All-Ireland Championships around the corner. Then we have the UKs, the Scottish, the Euros, the Worlds, Piping Live, all of that. There's a lot to get through over the next few months. So don't worry, Meet the Band will return. We are in the process, however, of continuing to record them. So, if you're listening right now and you would like to be a part of Meet the Band and you would like to have your band's story reflected on our podcast, then please do get in contact with us. bigrabshow@gmail.com. That address again, bigrabshow@gmail.com. We'd absolutely love to hear from you. And I'm not going to spoil it, but some of the bands that we have met and the stories we have heard, seriously, it's brilliant. I've got a whole new appreciation for a lot of the bands that are in that circle that we're watching every weekend. Yeah, you get a whole new appreciation for where they've come from, what they've been through, and where they are now. Some of these tales are absolutely fascinating. So, if you want your band's story on there, no matter where you're listening, but we've had quite a number of international bands involved as well. Not just right here in the UK, but as far as fields, the United States and Canada. We haven't had any from Australia yet, but I think we have one or two from New Zealand possibly lined up as well. So, no matter where you're listening right now, geographically, doesn't matter. If you're playing in a pipe band, we want to hear your story and be part of our Meet the Band feature. There you are. So, email us in, bigrabshow@gmail.com. Now, as for another one of our favourite features here on the show, Stuff That Rab Got Wrong. Yeah, Stuff That Rab Got Wrong. Turns out that I don't know, last week was a bit of an anomaly. There was nothing. Absolutely nothing. Which is so weird. Normally, we do get tons of email every week to tell me exactly Stuff That Rab Got Wrong. Yeah, tell me about the stuff that I got wrong. But I don't know what happened. Last week seemed to be just absolute perfection. So there was no complaining, there was no moaning, no droning, there was nothing. It was so strange. If anything, we did get some listener mail in, and those people wanted to remain anonymous, so fair enough. And they were talking about our chat with the Big Rab Show team. And a lot of you were in agreement with us whenever we were talking about talking at the arena. Oh, man, it seems to be everybody agrees with us whenever we're talking about people talking at arenas. So, I don't know. How can we tackle this problem? Not one of our emailers had a solution to this. And, they were all agreeing with us, going, yep, they've experienced this, and told us all sorts of stories about people talking while standing during a performance. But yet, no one seems to have a workable solution on how to tackle it. So, if you have any possible solutions to this problem, then us and the Rab Show team would love to hear it, because it's definitely come to the fore this season for sure. We were playing recordings last night on Fuse FM, recordings that we had taken at the Rab Show, and you can actively hear the conversations of people next to me planning what they're having for dinner that evening while we were listening to performances. I think one of the performances actually was Kildogue. We were playing Kildogue Pipe Band on the radio last night, and all you could hear was the guy next to me planning what he was having for dinner that evening. It's so annoying, and it's so infuriating. So, if you folks out there have any suggestions at all as to how we can rectify this, then get in touch with us. And do keep it broadcastable as well. Yeah. All right. And no lethal weapons or anything like that. No violence. Okay? All right, let's move on. So that's pretty much it for listener mail. Yeah. Most other things to say, we're planning for future episodes, and of course, Big Rab Show Live at Pipin' Live. I think it's went from first gear into fifth gear at this point. We're definitely thumping our way through and planning our shows at Pipin' Live. And right, I'm not going to get into spoiler territory, but later on in the show, we might talk more about it. That's all I'm going to say, okay? All right, say no more, Rab. Move on. Okay, if you do want to send in your own listener email, of course, you can do. Email us in, bigrabshow@gmail.com. All right, let's move on to our next favourite feature, of course, which is Weekly Drone. So, JD, have we got one on the shelf this week, mate?
It's the Weekly Drone.
So many questions. Hi, Rab. The droner last week spoke of questionable judging. The contest at Lahore again raises the same question. Why do the RSPBA let judges judge bands that they used to be members or leaders of? And why do judges put themselves in this position? Why does a new judge need to do 20 shadow runs and sit exams to prove that they know what they're talking about to existing judges who in some cases haven't played at the highest level or haven't played in years? Where are all these new judges that were supposed to be coming through the ranks like a breath of fresh air? Is it wrong that bands just want a fair listen after a hard winter?
Weekly Droner, you do pose a number of questions there, and I'm not quite sure where to begin. You did mention one competition in particular and calling it into question about the lineup of judges and everything. And yeah, you did mention about some of our judges would put themselves in a precarious position of possibly judging a band that they used to be in charge of. Now, whenever we first talked about this on the podcast, now you're talking way back in the early days, around episode 10 or 20 or something like that, we first did talk about this, about the pool of judges that competitions had to draw from was very limited. Our bagpiping world is a small world, and we all know each other too. It's kind of weird that way. But whenever it comes to our judges, then it becomes even more of an exclusive list. And yeah, you did mention there about wanting judges who have played in that top flight and have had that experience. Well, that's an even more exclusive list to talk about. So yeah, whenever it comes to judge selection, and that if a judge would deliberately put themselves in that position of judging a band that they used to be in charge of, well, I don't think it is done intentionally. It's not done on purpose. It pretty much is luck of the draw. You know, as these judging panels are being put together, well, yeah, they have a pool of judges who are available that particular weekend. And then, of course, they're allocated various arenas. Now, the judges themselves, I'm sure, don't know what's happening in what arena until the actual draw takes place. And then you see all the times and places and who's playing first, second, third, fourth, fifth, etc. So, it's an interesting dynamic, that one. Yeah. Now, you did ask a question there. Is it wrong for bands to want to get a fair listen? Well, absolutely not. Every band does deserve to get a fair listen. I agree. And I think that is the job of our judges, to have that integrity and to give every band in that circle a fair listen. Yeah, so, I don't know. I think what's being called into question here is whether judges could employ a certain type of bias. Now, whether that can be actually provable or not, I'm not certain. If anything, I think most of the judges in that circle, if not all of them, with a clipboard would definitely, they would have the integrity to judge as they hear it, you know? So, whether a judge would deliberately put themselves in that scenario, I don't believe that's the case at all. That's an interesting question, that one, that I do know a number of people have been asking, not just from the Loch competition, but for previous ones. And we've also seen it now with our major championships. We've also had the judge allocations announced for that as well. And that's been a bit of a talking point also in the piping scene. I'm aware of it. I think it's maybe why we're getting some weekly drones on this, and why we decided to bring it to this week's show. It is an interesting discussion, because you did raise a question there towards the end of your weekly drone asking, where is this huge pool of judges that we were all expecting? That's a very fair question. Now, we do remember mentioning this around January, February time, that there was a huge swathe of judges that had all finished their exams and came through all of that qualification process, and we should see evidence of that in our circles this year, and it doesn't appear to have been the case. Granted, there are quite a number of new names in there that we haven't seen before, and we do have some new judges in there cutting their teeth, doing some dummy runs, as they call it. Now, you did mention the qualification process to be a judge, and a lot of them judges that you're mentioning might not have played in the top flight or even played for years. Now, I don't know if that's a qualifying factor to be a judge. Do you need to be in that top flight duking it out? Do you need to have that experience? Or can you prove it through your experience and performance in exams to prove that you actually know what you're talking about? Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic, that. And judging is definitely, it's a bit of a sore topic for a lot of pipe banders, and has always been the topic of conversation pouring through the judging sheets after every competition, just wondering what pipe band was that judge listening to? Were they even listening to us at all? But we were talking about this on Fuse last night. Yeah, that we've noticed this in recordings. That, ourselves in the Big Rab Show, we would get a recording from, we would normally try and peg ourselves behind where the pipe major would stand, right? That's where we normally find that the ensemble works best. But we have seen other recordings out there from other outlets, such as We Love Pipe Bands or Crazy Red, or there's been other outlets that have other recordings from different angles, and the performances sound completely different. Same band, same day, same medley selection, totally different sound. And it's crazy to think that one half of the band can sound one way and the other one can be the polar opposite. It's crazy. So, yeah, I don't know. Calling judging into question is one thing. Calling judges' integrity into question is completely another. But, that's another factor to take into consideration, and it depends on where the judge stands and actually what they hear. We've been talking about this on Fuse, as we mentioned, just last night, and one of the other things that came up was that drumming judges are on the move now. Yeah, used to be drumming judges were static behind the drum corps and never moved. Now they're on the move. Next time you're at a competition, just have a watch at the drumming judge and you'll find most times now they'll take a little walk. Yeah. You would normally see a drumming judge and they're kind of the lazy one out of all of them. They just stand behind the drummers and don't move. But no, this time round, you'll find drumming judges are on the move. Yeah. Now, whether that's to fully take in the bass and tenor corps and get a full reflection from both the left-hand side and right-hand side of the corps, but it's an interesting dynamic that they're now moving. Yeah, piping judges do it too, yeah, and ensemble judges too. They often are on the walk, quite often. So, yeah, trying to get that full picture of a pipe band performance can be really tricky. And, yeah, shout out to our judges who really only have one opportunity to do it. Yeah, and they don't have the luxury of being able to hit rewind if they think they've heard a mistake. They go, oh, hold on, I think there was a little blip in the reel there. Let's listen to it again. Nope, you can't do that. It's gone. You get one chance only. And, it's a pretty tough job. So, anyway, I know I seem to be defending our judges here, okay? But trust me, I would not want to be a judge. That is for sure. It's a very thankless task and a pretty difficult one at that too. Yikes. But, yeah, an interesting topic for discussion for sure. No doubt we will approach this in future topics of the week, no doubt. And if you do have your own opinions on this, of course, you can send in your own weekly drone. Go to our website, thebigrabshow.com. There's a big button at the top of the page saying weekly drone, and let us know your thoughts and opinions on this going forward. Now, as we mentioned, there is apparently a huge pool of brand new judges that we will see doing dummy runs this year in the hope that they will be hitting the circle next season. Yeah, if they manage to get enough dummy runs under their belt and they get through all of their relevant qualifications, then hopefully that judging pool will only ever expand. Yeah, we did lose a number of judges at the end of last season, yeah, through retirements and such, but we are still backfilling those roles. Yeah, so we have a limited pool at the moment, but we do hope to see that expanding in the near future. Yeah, judging. It's an interesting one, isn't it? It's a bit of a hot topic as well. You know, it seems to be every time we talk about judging on the show, we get a raft of emails. So I'm expecting to see some more weekly drones on that. Yeah, there we go. All right, folks. Well, that's pretty much it for the introductions and stuff here in the show. I think it's time for me to take a wee break at this point, and we'll get right into the news and updates, of which there are plenty. Right, folks, I want to tell you about a brilliant new app called MusoLink. It's from Matt Fraser, yeah, the same guy behind the B-flat tuner. And it's all about helping you track your music practice smarter. You can record your sessions using AI, add notes, get reports, and keep yourself accountable. But what really makes it stand out is the social side. It's like Strava for pipers. You can follow your mates, give them kudos, leave comments, and stay motivated together. Loads of bands are already on board, including Scots College, Hawthorne, and there are loads of others who are making big moves. So, if you're prepping for this year's World Championships or just want to get better, search for MusoLink on the App Store now. And once you're there, why not give the Big Rab Show a follow and we can push each other over the line. Do you wish piping could be fun again? Bagpipers around the world continue to struggle with their instrument, despite hours of hard work trying to get better. Bagpiping should be fulfilling. Your hard work should pay off, showing improvement and the freedom to express yourself musically. Or why do it? The Dojo University believe every piper should be able to free themselves from musical frustration, proven over more than a decade of successful teaching and accessible anywhere with an internet connection. The Dojo is unlike any other bagpipe learning experience in the world. Let the Dojo channel your enthusiasm into a fun and fulfilling program that will empower you with the knowledge to fall in love with piping all over again. So go to dojouniversity.com/Big Rab and take advantage of our 30-day free trial of Dojo Premium membership. Join the global community of students today and rediscover the fun of bagpiping. dojouniversity.com/Big Rab for a 30-day free trial. Okay, let's get into the news and updates. Now, where should we start? Well, you heard a wee advert for it there a second ago. MusoLink, let's start there. They've hit the headlines this last while with a big article on pipesdrums.com, and there's been loads of conversation about this all across socials. And let's talk about it. MusoLink have been doing something really quite interesting this last while, which have got loads of people logging into the app, creating accounts, and are now furiously practicing away. Yeah, MusoLink have launched the World's Prep Challenge, where they are challenging users to clock 20-minute practice sessions on your profile. And if you manage to log all of those sessions, well, then you will be eligible to get into a prize draw for either a Maverick practice chanter or a Jim Kilpatrick Pro Pad and stand. Yeah, what's not to love about that? So the MusoLink app, if you aren't aware of it, we've been sort of promoting it and plugging it now for a good while, but for good reason. Yeah, you might remember way back ages ago, we had Matt Fraser on the show telling us all about MusoLink and how it can really help improve your playing. Well, ourselves in the Big Rab Show, I have been using it personally myself. You can actually go on to MusoLink now and actually give us a follow. Just type it in, Big Rab Show, and you'll see us there. And you can laugh at the amount of practice, or not so much, that we've been doing this last while. This 2020 challenge is really interesting because it kind of pushes you, you know? I know myself, I would sort of noodle around in the practice chanter in the morning and then, around 5 or 10 minutes here and there. And then in the evening, I would lift the pipes and have a blow again, another 10, 15 minutes or so. This challenge encourages you to go that little bit extra and perhaps continue blowing pipes for a good 20 minutes. And then you've ticked that box for the day, You've done 20 minutes practice and, that's another one done out of the 20 that makes you eligible for this prize draw. It's brilliant. Now, the MusoLink has a social element to it where you can kind of give encouragement to people. In my case, I was able to kind of make notes on each session and, tell people what I was working on and what I was having difficulty with. And then people were actually commenting back and say, oh, we can try this and try that. Brilliant. So I've been incorporating that feedback from followers on MusoLink, and I've been finding that my playing's getting better. You can also record each one of your sessions and you could listen to them back yourself. No one else has access to them, thank goodness. But you can share them if you want to. And you can also share your sessions with your tutors and stuff and say, hey, here's my afternoon practice session. What do I need to work on for the next one? Really useful that way. So I know this sounds like a huge advert. Honestly, I know you've already listened to one. But this is such a great venture. And it really has been encouraging people to delve back into their practice. Perhaps the 5-10 minutes noodling around on a drum pad or a practice chanter. Yeah, why not just extend that practice time a little bit and be eligible for a possible prize draw in the future? Yeah, so the app is free to download now. I know, again, sounds like an advert, but go and check it out. Musolink, honestly, fantastic. I've been really enjoying it over there. And if you do manage to sign up to Musolink and everything, get yourself an account and start practicing, then give us and the Big Rab Show a follow, and we will all kind of join in together in preparation for this year's World Championships. So good luck to everyone who does, if you are in the process of logging those 20-minute practice sessions, it's not easy sometimes. I think I have a few logged, not too many. It's sometimes carving out that time for a full 20-minute session can be difficult enough. Most times I do practice on my lunch break anyway. So, Musolink, such a cool venture. The World's Prep Challenge. Go and check it out. Completely free. And if you fancy getting some extra practice in, why not log it there on the Musolink app and be eligible for a free prize draw? Okay, so before we get into all the rest of the news and the results and all of that sort of stuff, I do have to mention there's been quite a sad passing in the piping scene here in this side of the Irish Sea that I'm sure a lot of you listening right now will be well aware of. Yeah, we had the announcement not too long ago of the passing of Sean Gaffney. Now, Sean would be a pretty well-known figure, as we've mentioned, as the bass drummer of the Thomas Davis pipe band from Newry. Yeah. Now, you might have also seen posts all across social media about this, and the outpouring of love across the scene has been quite incredible. And Sean, who was affectionately known as the Gaffer, has influenced many different bass drummers who are still competing today, and has been instrumental in that role, inspiring people to take up bass drumming. So, from all of us here in the Big Rab Show team, before we do progress any further with this week's episode, it would be remiss of us if we didn't mention it. So we did want to pass on our sincere condolences to all of Sean's family, friends, and to all of his bandmates there from the Thomas Davis pipe band in Newry, and to everyone who did take inspiration from his playing all those years. He will be sorely missed by all of us. So in light of that, I think it's only right that we continue the show, but we just wanted to mark that at this point in the show to let the whole family know that we're thinking of them at this time. So let's get into all the news and updates good and proper, and I think we should start with some results then, shall we? Yeah, this past weekend we did not have a competition here in Northern Ireland, so as a result, my wife has me redecorating the house. Yeah, I'm repainting walls and laying new carpets and all sorts of stuff. Our house is just insane. You get a weekend away from piping and, you end up filling your time with other stuff. But that's not to say that there was not any piping and drumming to enjoy this weekend. In fact, there was tons. Let's talk about Scotfest BC. Oh, boy, was it something special. Yeah. So Scotfest, man, I don't know where to begin with this. Obviously, we have to talk about the Simon Fraser University, don't we? Yeah, that medley selection, I think we've heard it before now, but there has been certain little changes and stuff in there from SFU. Really enjoyable stuff. If you haven't seen the video of Simon Fraser yet, they've published it up there on their YouTube channel. Both runs, their MSR and their medley at Scotfest BC. Trust me, folks, go and have a watch at it. Simon Fraser. Oh, man, are they cooking right now. All right, let's look at the other grades, shall we, from Scotfest. Let's look at Grade 2 MSR. Winner on the day was North Stratton with ones right across the board. Same for the medley competition as well. Yeah, shout out to North Stratton. In second place was the Cascadia pipe band. That could be stuff that Rab got wrong, the pronunciation. Apologies. It was with twos right across the board in the MSR and the medley. And in third place in both MSR and medley was the city of Regina. There you are. So that was your Grade 2 competition. And yes, shout out to North Stratton. Actually, I really enjoyed their drumming. I don't know what it was, just something about their drum corps that weekend. Absolutely singing. Fair play to you. But also, we have a very short video sent to us of the Cascadia pipe band who were on the walk between arenas and playing a good tune, actually. Had a big tone there, so shout out to you. All right, moving on to Grade 3 then at the Scotfest BC. In the top spot there for both medley and MSR, are the Greyland Crossing Pipe Band. Yes, well done, folks. And in second place was the Vale United Pipe Band in both MSR and medley. Yeah, not to be confused with the Vale of Atholl, of course. Whenever I first read this, I was going, whoa, hold on. The Vale of Atholl were competing? No, it's the Vale United Pipe Band. There you are. So that could have been my fault. But there you go. Yeah, shout out to Greyland Crossing. I did manage to see your MSR performance. However, I've yet to catch your medley from that. So if anyone has that, please send our road. We'd love to see it. Looking at grade 4 medley competition then, the winners on the day were the Robert Malcolm Memorial. Yes, worth ones right across the board. Second was the White Spot Pipe Band, and in third was Northwest Junior. Yes, looking at the MSR competition in grade 4, we had Northwest Junior pick up the top spot with Robert Malcolm in second, and then Glendale Pipes and Drums were in third there. There you are. Also looking at grade 5, then we have the Robert Malcolm Memorial pick up the top spot there with the Quick March set with ones right across. Second were the White Spot PB. There you go. So not a bad weekend's work, and genuinely, folks, if you haven't seen the performances from Simon Fraser or North Stratton for that matter, go and check them out now. I don't even mind if you pause the podcast right now. Go and have a look on YouTube and stuff. There's tons of recordings. Go to Simon Fraser's own official website, or no, their YouTube channel, I mean. And yeah, their recordings, they're just brilliant. If anything, I've seen what they do 2 different angles. One of where the pipe major is, and then they have another video entirely just behind the drum corps. Oh, baby, that's good. So shout out to Simon Fraser. What a great tune. And yeah, just a pleasure to listen to. Fantastic. All right, let's move on. More results then. We have to talk about the Loch Orr competition that took place on Saturday, of course, 21st. Yes, it was all sorts of interesting for many reasons. Let's first of all start with grade Novice B. Winners on the day were George Watson's College Novice Juvenile. Yes. In second place in ensemble preference was Lochgilly High School. In third was Erskine Stewart Melville. Yes. And in fourth place was Strathallan Schools. There you are. And that's your Novice B. Moving on to Novice A then. Winners on the day, George Watson's College, 369. Second place was the High School of Dundee. And in third was Boghall and Bathgate. Yes. Or sorry, to give them their full title, People's Ford, Boghall and Bathgate, Caledonia. I keep doing that, forgive me. In fourth place then, they played up on the day. It was George Watson's College Novice Juvenile B. There you are. Moving on to the juvenile grade there, winner on the day was George Watson's College. There you go. And that was their juvenile band. And yeah, their novice, let me see, in second place was High School of Dundee, which was the novice juvenile A band who played up. There you are. Apologies for the confusion. But yeah, not a bad weekend's work for George Watson's. I'm sure you'll agree. There you are. Moving on to grade 4B then, just a couple of bands in here in 4B for the Loch Orr competition, with ones right across the board. Winners on the day were the City of Discovery. Yes, well done. And on second place was the City of St Andrews. There you go, and that was your 4B competition. Short and sweet. Moving on to grade 4A, we had 3 bands in here. Winners on the day were Kirkcaldy District. Yes, and the drumming on the day went to the Vale of Atholl, who finished in the runners-up spot. Yeah. In third place was the RAF Central Scotland Pipes and Drums. There you go. Moving on to grade 3 then, we had 9 bands in total in here, with the number playing up from grade 4A. Winners on the day were Dunbar RBL. Yes, and they won the piping, actually, with 2 firsts in piping. And, yeah, what a cracking good run by Dunbar, honestly. Ooh, I was well impressed with that. So, yeah, 2 firsts in piping, first in ensemble, however, a second in drumming, but still, that was enough to, yeah, put them in the top spot there in grade 3. Well done. In second place was the City of Discovery Pipe Band. Yes, excellent stuff. And in third place was the Burnt Island District, 1, 2, 4, 5 to be precise. And, yeah, they lifted the drumming as well. In fourth place was Methil District. There you are. So, yeah, overall quite a competitive grade in there in grade 3 with a lot of good music played. I have to give a shout out to Methil District. I really did enjoy their drumming. That's just really, really good. So, yeah, just that was my show notes here. And also, the run from Dunbar. Absolutely brilliant. Well done. All right, moving on to grade 2. Winners on the day were Uddingston. Yes. Now, if you haven't seen the video of Uddingston, I know I seem to be repeating myself now, but honestly, all of these performances from these competitions that I'm mentioning, Scotfest BC and now from Loch Orr, they're all up there on socials. All right. And the video of Uddingston, oh, it's goosebumps stuff. Seeing that drum corps march off the line, hitting that big opening row. Oh, man. That gave me the chills. It was absolutely brilliant to watch. So shout out to Uddingston. Yeah, lifting the top spot and the drumming as well. Not a bad weekend's work there. They split the piping on the day with the second place finisher, who was the Vale of Athol. Yes, shout out to the Vale. As we say, splitting the piping with the top spot there with Uddingston. Well done. In third place was George Watson's College. Their juvenile band played up in grade 2 that day, and they finished up third. And in fourth place then we had Denny and Donnypace Association. There you go. So, yeah, a lot of real competitive action in there in grade 2, but shout out to Uddingston. What a run. Now, what had most people talking around our dinner table this weekend was the grade 1 result. Now, brace yourselves. If you haven't seen the results from Lochaor, by the way, where have you been? It's been pretty much the talk of the town since it happened. So, winning the grade 1 competition in Lochaor this past weekend were Police Scotland Fife. Ho, 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 ho. Woo! Yeah! Now, wow. You talk about exciting. Man, what a run. If you haven't heard it yet. Now, I know I've been saying this of a lot of the bands. Seriously, there's been some good music played. And this was up there as one of my highlights of the weekend. Oh, my word. It was outstanding. Go and check it out. Police Scotland Fife were absolutely singing. And they lifted the drumming as well. Yeah, a very impressive win. They certainly hit the ground running. Just fantastic. So shout out to Police Scotland Fife. Well done. In second place were People's Ford, Boghall and Bathgate, Caledonia. Yeah, now they actually managed to split the piping with Fife Polis. Yeah, so there you go. Very competitive. In third place were Scottish Power. Yes, they were definitely up there as well. Ensemble-wise, like they finished second in ensemble and second in drumming as well. So definitely a force to be reckoned with. This grade 1 this year, man, is going to be so interesting for many different reasons. And, yeah, go and have a listen to all 3 performances. Do yourself a favour. The music that was played in Lochaor that past weekend was just blistering. So well done to everyone in grade 1, of course, and to all grades, of course, as well. So, yeah, just a lot of brilliant music played in Lochaor. Just a great competition. I've been hearing a lot of good reports about it too. So, yeah, shout out to everyone there that took part in such a great competition. And, hey, looking forward to more future Grade 1 action to see how it all shakes down. But that was such a good result there for Fife. Oh, baby. There you go. That's interesting, isn't it? Okay, let's briefly talk about some drum majoring, shall we? Yes, the Nova Scotia International Tattoo is... well, it's about to open its doors, and, yeah, we're mentioning drum majoring. Have to give a shout-out to The Force. The Force Drum Major Display Team, who are currently, well, still in the middle of dress rehearsals and all of that, as the point of me recording this. So, yeah, it's about to become very real, very quick when those doors swing open. And, yeah, drum majoring will be showcased on a very large stage. Now, this tattoo is absolutely huge and really does draw in some international acts, and, yeah, I'm very excited to see The Force hit the floor at the Nova Scotia International Tattoo. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you do want to go and follow their journey, they've been documenting the full thing as they go. Yeah, go and give a shout to The Force Drum Major Display Team. Very exciting development there. And yeah, I've been really enjoying following their adventures. So good luck to everyone there at The Force. And if you are going to the tattoo, please do make a point to go and see them and perhaps even grab a selfie with them as well. Yeah. There you are. So that's exciting. The Nova Scotia Tattoo. Excellent. Oh, also speaking about The Force, actually, that kind of brings us on to Piping Live, because The Force dropped a huge announcement, actually, just today at the point of me recording this, that on Wednesday, the 13th of August, you have the chance to do a come and try drum majoring with The Force. There you go. So, yeah, this is going to be held at the Bothy tent at the National Piping Centre at 11:15 a.m. on the Wednesday of Piping Live. So if you've ever fancied yourself as a drum major, or even just wondering, could you ever do it? You know, could you hold the mace and flourish and be good at M&D and all that stuff? Well, there's your opportunity. You can go and learn with some of the world's best. So, yeah, shout out to The Force. They have a big event coming up as part of Piping Live on the Wednesday. And hey, if you're going to that, then why not hang around to Big Rab Show Live? Yeah, I know it's a shameless plug, but yeah, you might have heard on last week's podcast and last night on Fuse, where we're talking all about Big Rab Show Live at Piping Live. Yeah, it's hard to believe we've got 2 live shows at Piping Live, and you might be hearing later on in this week's topic of the week one of our first guests that might be joining us. Yes. It's going to be all sorts of exciting because perhaps a little person called Ross Miller might be joining us. You'll hear that later. But yeah, Big Rab Show Live at Piping Live. Wednesday and Thursday of Piping Live week is just going to be epic. And yes, we haven't really started announcing the lineup yet until right now. Yeah, that's going to be exciting right there. So, yeah, do you know what? There has been some questions and stuff around the setup of Piping Live and how it's all going to work and all of that. You know, with the ticketing, and it's all changed now from this year. You know, compared to previous years, this year's Piping Live is going to be completely different. So, ourselves and the Big Rab Show team, we took it upon ourselves to line up a bit of an interview with someone who's quite knowledgeable on the topic. Yeah, let's get a chat to John Mulhearn. So, welcome to the podcast, John Mulhearn. John, how are you? You well?
I'm good, thanks, Rabbi. How's yourself?
The best, yeah, indeed. So, for folks who don't know you, you're quite heavily involved with the Piping Live Festival. Can you tell us about your role then?
Yeah, within the Piping Live Festival, I'm kind of a big part of our programming team, so that's kind of predominantly where my energies are focused. Beyond that, you know, at the Piping Centre, I'm head of the degree programme as well. So, you know, it's a kind of, there's a lot to keep us busy in the place, you know.
Oh, yeah. Jack of all trades, John. That's it. Well, obviously, I'm sure by now people have already seen that a lot of the lineup has already been announced, and the new layout for the festival, it's a complete new look for Piping Live this year, isn't it?
That's right. I mean, I guess it's probably the biggest cosmetic change to the festival, certainly in about 10 years, since we stopped programming stuff down at George Square and focused our attention much more at the building. So it's kind of developing that idea a little bit further, I guess, and really looking to maximise what we can do at the Piping Centre itself, around the building, within the building, and trying to really make the most of that space.
That's it. So people would have gotten used to, over the last few years, I guess, you know, with having the big marquee with the bar and everything, but it's completely changed now. There seems to be like a huge big main stage and a lot of other different areas. Can you walk us through what can people expect at the Piping Centre this year?
Yeah, you're right. So I guess the big change is that there's these 2 outside performance areas. I guess people have always been familiar with our street cafe, the stage outside there. So we've kind of moved on from that, and we've put what we're calling the centre stage right in the front of the Piping Centre itself. Yeah. Centre stage looking right down Hope Street. And then off to the side of the building where the street cafe has been in recent years, we've got what we're calling the bothy. Wow. So we'll have programming on these 2 stages that kind of overlap with each other. So, you know, there's a whole lot more programming. And then in addition to that, you know, there'll be plenty of stuff going on within the building itself, as always. Yeah, that's it, really. You know, it's an exciting next chapter for the festival, I think.
Wow, and a whole new shake-up, yeah. And, well, we have to give a plug for ourselves, of course. We're going to be in that bothy tent a couple of times this year.
Yeah, absolutely. We love having you along. So, yeah, it's great.
So we're very excited for the event, but there has been some confusion for some folks, you know, around ticketing. Over this last number of years, street cafe and all of that, you know, you sort of dander in off the street and you kind of enjoy it, really. But this year it's much different. The event is ticketed, not right?
That's right, yeah. So I guess part of this is us trying to find new ways to generate some income in order to be able to make it happen, you know. So yeah, there's a kind of entrance fee onto the site, onto the festival site, I guess, if you think about it that way.
Yeah.
And it, you know, think of it as like a cover charge for all the music and everything that's going to be going on. Anyway, you know, so you'll enter up to the left hand side of the building as you look at it, and Yeah, the sort of cover fee, if you like, it's £10 for a full day's access, £9 for the concession price. And then once you've got that festival pass, the day pass, or the week pass, if you want to buy that option, once you've got that, then some of the other events that take place inside the building itself are ticketed separately. So
Yeah.
the Masters contest on the Monday, the lunchtime recitals, the Learn It Live educational programming, those things are ticketed separately, and you need to have the festival pass first in order to be then able to get tickets for those.
To gain access to those, yeah. So I have to say, we've got a lot of questions from listeners of the show that have a lot of, queries about the ticket and how it all works. But I think your first port of call should be the Piping Live website. I think that's where it's all being driven through at the moment, isn't it?
That's it, exactly. Yeah, all the information's there. It's perhaps a wee bit on the wordy side, but persevere through the words, and all the information you need is there. Like I say, ultimately you need a day pass for the festival, either a day pass or a week pass. And once you've got that, you can then get the additional tickets that you might be looking for as well.
There you are. So sound advice there. And to follow up on that advice, my advice is to sort of pre-order them as well. So then whenever the day comes, you're not having to worry about, running around and trying to purchase tickets. Just walk in with here you go, I've already got my ticket.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know, and I mean, as festival organisers, do you know, and promoters, it's always good to know that the ticket sales are there anyway, do you know? So obviously we would always encourage you to get tickets in advance.
100%, yeah. And I suppose the reasoning behind this is, let's face it, we're in a bit of an economic, difficult time, let's say, and every festival around the globe has all seen their prices increase, and costs and that are only ever going up. So Piping Live, I'm sure, hasn't been immune to that, John.
Absolutely. The cost of overheads has just been climbing and climbing in recent years. I mean, everyone feels it at home as well. Organisations like ours feel it just the same as anyone else. And I mean, festivals up and down the country have been closing. There are so many festivals that just can't financially make things stack up anymore. And yeah, I mean, we've managed to ride that storm relatively well in recent years, but ultimately we need to look at a new kind of economic model for the festival to survive.
Yeah.
And we're hoping on the kind of sense of community that's around about the festival, and the sort of shared experience that we've built up with our audiences over 20 years and more, with Piping Live, in order to be able to help support us.
Well, that's it exactly, and that's what I want to put out on this week's episode, that if you do want to help support the festival, then this is the best way. Go grab your ticket and then go and enjoy the day. Tons of great, I don't know, the amount of amazing artists that are lined up for this, John. We always do a Piping Live preview show every year, and you guys just make it more and more difficult every blinking year for us to pick out highlights.
Well, yeah, do you know? I mean, I guess part of the part of what we've been doing with this is we're actually programming a whole lot more stuff this year as well.
That's it.
So yeah, making your job difficult for you.
Oh, very. Yeah, I don't know. Looking at the lineup at the moment, there's just so much happening, and it's really, I don't know. You want to be in like 4 different places at once. It's nuts. I have to say, for those listening right now, go pre-order your tickets, help support this amazing festival, and any questions, you can direct them through to us in the Rab Show, or just go to the website. That's our best advice. Yeah. So, John, obviously, I'm not going to get catching up with you at the festival. I'm sure you're going to be running around like crazy. It's going to be
I'll be busy, but it's always nice to make time to catch up with people. It really is kind of one of the great things about the festival, I think, for us working there, but also for people that just kind of come to attend, is you bump into people that you've maybe not seen in a whole year, and it's always a good chance to catch up with people. Like I say, I think there is a real kind of sense of community around about the festival, and we're enormously grateful for that. So.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. And it's the social element that really makes it as well. Sharing a pint together on the steps of the Piping Centre. It's brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. Aye.
John, thank you so much for chatting with us on the show this week. And our advice is grab your tickets early, folks. Yeah. Thank you so much, John.
No worries. Thanks for having me, Rab.
There you are. A massive shout out to John for taking time to chat with us here on the show. And it's brilliant to find out just how that's all working. So our advice, again, just to reiterate, please grab your Pipe and Live tickets early. Get them on the pre-order, as they say, so you have them in your hand and you don't have to worry about it on the day. You can just rock up and say, hey, there's my ticket. Let me in, ya boy, yeah, and go and enjoy the day. And we're very much looking forward to our 2 shows of Pipe and Live, and we hope to see you there. Also shout out to the Force as well, who are also going to be there doing their Drum Majoring Come and Try event. So that's going to be a lot of fun too. There you are. All right. So we've talked about Pipe and Live and the Force and everything, but let's talk about the Northern Ireland Drum Major display team. Actually, they've been putting out some announcements on their socials too. Yeah, Drum Major Emma Barr, she's heading to the Glengarry Highland Games in Maxville. Yeah. Now, she's going to be doing workshops and all sorts there. So if you're anyways curious and you will be going to the Glengarry Highland Games in Maxville, well, there you go. There's your opportunity, to learn from a world champion, Emma Barr. Wow. So there you go. August 1st on the Friday, that's when the workshops are taking place. If you do want to find out more details, of course, on how you can register your interest and everything, just go along to the Glengarry Highland Games on their socials. All those links and that have been shared out already where you can go and register. And there you go. Learning with Emma Barr, 2-time world champion, boy. Brilliant. There you go. Shout out to Emma. But not only is Emma heading to Maxville, but I have to give a mention to the rest of the team who are going to be heading to South Africa. Yeah, did you see this? Wow, talk about an opportunity and a half. Yeah, the Drum Major display team, the Northern Ireland Drum Major display team, to be precise, are going to South Africa on the 26th of July for the South African Pipe Band Championships. Wow. So a full credit to all of them. So to Lewis Anderson, Jason Price, Lauren Hanna, and Emma Barr will be there. And of course, Georgia Turkington will be there as well. Wow. So, full credit to the full team. Just brilliant to see drum majoring traveling like this, to Nova Scotia, to the tattoo, but also to South Africa. This is amazing. And Maxville as well. I tell you, see, for, chucking a mace about and stuff that I don't fully understand, I really have a full respect of what they do. It is an art form, and it shows that if you want to be a drum major and it's successful enough, then you can definitely travel. So, fair play. The Northern Ireland Drum Major display team, shout out to you. That's dead exciting there. Also, I have to give a mention to the County Armagh School of Drum Majors as well, who's been really thumping out the content on their own socials as well. There's been tons of drum majoring videos all across their socials. And, just wanted to give them a mention as well this week as well. So, tons of opportunities for drum majors at the moment. Yeah, tons of tuition, gigs aplenty all over the place. And, there's a lot to enjoy if you're a drum major. There you go. All right, let's move on. Let's get talking about some pipe bands, shall we? I want to give a mention about the Europeans. Yes, the European Pipe Band Championships, which are happening in Perth. Well, the tickets are now available for spectators. So, if you're going to attend on August 9th, well, tickets are now available. £16.50 for an adult. There you go. I'll let you fight it out in the comments, as they say. Yeah, an adult ticket for the Euros, £16.50. Ouch. Yeah, and then for a family ticket, £37.50. There you go. That's what you will expect to pay. Now, whether that is advanced booking prices and maybe on the day it's different, don't know. But from what I've been hearing, now this is just rumours and maybe stuff that Rab got wrong, but this year's European Championships in Perth is going to be one of the biggest yet. Because of its proximity in the calendar to the Worlds, it will see, hopefully, a large entry of international pipe bands duking it out for that major title. Now, we've been recording a few Meet the Bands, and a lot of the bands that we've already been meeting, they're making plans to head to the Euros in Perth. So, this will be a big one to get to, folks. So, tickets are £16.50, but, that's nearly cheap at twice the price, to be honest. So yeah, if you are curious, you can go to the perthshireboxoffice.com. Follow all the links and everything to the European Pipe Band Championships, and that's where you can go and purchase your tickets now. There you are. Shameless plug, but that date should already be firmly in your diary. August 9th. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to briefly mention a bit of a shameless plug to Black Bear on social media. Yes, they're an amazing social media account for covering all of the piping action from Australia. Well, the reason I'm giving them a shout this week is, well, this past weekend was the Queensland State Pipe Band Championships, just about talk, and yeah, they've got tons of videos from that. Loads of great performances, including some of the street march competition as well. So shout out to Black Bear. I've been really enjoying their content on their socials, so if you haven't checked them out yet, please do. Some of the runs that they've have filmed up there are just blistering. Go and enjoy it. Yeah, tons of great piping from Australia, from the Queensland State Pipe Band Championships. And yeah, thanks to Black Bear for capturing it all. Just really good to enjoy internationally. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, you knew full well I was going to talk about the All-Ireland Championships on this week's show. And in fact, I do know a good number of you are pretty much expecting it, because we were talking about it last night on Fuse, and I promised you we would. Yeah, the All-Ireland Pipe Band Championships are next weekend. I could not be more ready for it. It's going to be one of the biggest competitions this side of the Irish Sea. And yeah, we've good reason to be excited. The RSPBA Northern Ireland branch have really pulled out all the stops. And not just for the competition itself, but there's a full week-long program of stuff leading all the way up to this. Yeah, they are calling it the All-Ireland Pipe Band Championships Fringe. And this is amazing. I don't know if you've seen the details of all of this, but they have dates all across all week, all across the province. Tons of great piping and drumming events. It's just going to be blistering. All right, let's kick things off with the 30th of June. Yeah, we have opening night, which will be at the Newgate Centre there in Derry, Londonderry, and it's completely free. Now, featured on the night will be Breedy Ulster Scots. We'll have drum major Jamie Lee Wilson. We'll also have Kildogue Pipe Band. Go on, the Dogs. You. Go on, Kildogue. We'll also have the Solus Highland Dancers there and Darren Milligan and friends. Now, this is going to be all sorts of fun. All right, so that's kicking things off for the All-Ireland Championships that week on the Monday. Yeah, Monday night at 7:30 in the Newgate Arts Centre. Wow, that's going to be so much fun. So, yeah, shout out for that. The next event then we have to add to your calendar is the Wednesday then. Yeah, Wednesday, 2nd of July is Piping in the Derg. Yeah, Piping in the Derg. Where do you hear the lineup for this? Now, this is going to be taking place in Castlederg Town Centre, and again, completely free. And it kicks off at 7:30 in the evening. We have a massed band filled with pipers and drummers from all across Northern Ireland. Everyone's welcome, by the way. If you do want to go and play in that, on you go. Unfortunately, I can't on Tuesday. Yeah, I'm kind of stuck this Tuesday night, but I would have loved to have been there. But yeah, we have Clough Finn Pipe Band, Clocker and District Pipe Band. We have a bunch of other local pipe bands yet to be confirmed. We also have a Northern Ireland drum major display team who we were talking about earlier. We have the List Laird Highland Dancers and a bunch of street music performers as well. So that's going to be a big occasion there in Castlederg. Wednesday, the 2nd of July, Piping in the Derg. I love the title of that. That's brilliant. It's great to see these fringe events, but I'm not done yet. Yeah. On Thursday, the 3rd of July, in the Somme Memorial Hall in Newton Stewart, we have the Solo Masterclass. Oh, no, I really want to get to this. Oh, no, and I'll explain why. Number one, it's completely free. That's a win right there. But yeah, Solo Masterclass. Wait till you hear who's teaching the classes. All right, we have Alistair Donaghy from, the Field Marshal. We have Rhys Doherty from St. Lawrence O'Toole. We have Jacob Laird there from Rivara. Georgia Turkington, of course, from Matt Boyd Memorial for the drum majoring. And we have Henry Turkington there from Down Academy. Now, what's not to love about that? Now, I know for one, pipe band playing is one thing, but solo playing is another animal entirely. And even if you are pretty proficient in your own band playing, this could really take your solo game to another level, and you could learn from some of the best in the business here. Yeah, some of those big names I'm sure you'll already recognize as some previous prize winners. Yeah, there's some Ulster champions and world champions in the mix there, so definitely worthy of your time. Yeah. So That's completely free in the Saw Memorial Hall, Newton Stewart, on the 3rd of July in the lead up for the All-Ireland Championships themselves. Now, let's talk about the All-Ireland Championships, shall we? This is on the 5th of July, of course. It seems to be we've been building up to this event now for weeks, but it's finally here. Just next week. Now, the draw is available online. You can go and read it at your leisure. Now, I'm not going to read through the draw for Antrim, which is this weekend, because I've done that last week. Let's briefly look at the All-Ireland, shall we? Starting with Grade 4B, we have the City of Limerick, Major Sinclair, Rafferty, Brady, Ulster Scots. We have Queen Elizabeth, Riverside Alliance, Hollymount, Letterkenny District, Tullylagan, Middletown CT, Police Benefit Association. There you go. We have Down Academy, Carrigaline, McDonald Memorial, Clonaux Independent, Youghal, and Joseph Ford Memorial. I hope I've managed to pronounce them correctly. Yeah, that could be stuff that Rab got wrong. But there you go. But yeah, there's a couple of names that jump out to me, actually. Clonaux Independent. That's a band that's not too far from me, and I've been off the road now for a while, so it would be brilliant to see them back in the circle again. And Riverside Alliance, I'm not sure who that band is. I'm not aware of them, but very curious. And also to the Middletown CT, Police Benefit Association. Don't know who they are, but I'm very curious to find out more. There you are. So that's your Grade 4B. Looking at 4A then, we have Raphoe Ulster Scots, New Rossin District, Cottown, Black Raven, Altnavay Memorial, Grantia, Cullen, Thiepville Memorial, Moneygore, and Marlacoo. Yes, quite a big grade there in 4A. Yeah. Looking at Grade 3B then, we have Sirlain District, Upper Crossgar, Ballybully, Drumloch, William Kerr Memorial, and the Cleland Memorial. There you go. 3A, we have the Irvine Memorial, Major Sinclair Memorial, Uddingston, Strathclyde are making the trip over. Yo! Good on yous. Good stuff. Good to see the Uddy. So, yeah, brilliant to see. Yeah, moving on. We have Cullabackie, Clochern District, Kildogue, Clockfin, McNeilstown, and the Matt Boyds. That's quite a packed grade in there. 9 in total. And, yeah, I'm very interested to see where the Uddy would kind of shake down in the mix there. It's going to be brilliant to see. Oh, that's exciting. Moving on to Grade 2, then we have Manor Cunningham, Tullylagan, and St. Joseph's Clondalkin. There you are. Moving on to Grade 1, of course, we have the Big Four, as we're now calling them. We have Field Marshal, Closkelt, St. Lawrence O'Toole, and Ravara. And I think that's going to be a total dogfight in there. Absolute slaughter. Now, I mean that in the best way. It's going to be so entertaining. Yeah. Now, this weekend in Antrim, of course, we spoke about it last week. This is going to be our first opportunity to see Field Marshal Montgomery in the circle in Antrim Castle Gardens this weekend. And yeah, clearly they're doing this in preparation for the All-Ireland Championships, where they will be duking it out against Closkelt, St. Lawrence, and Ravara, who have already been, all guns blazing this season. So they've been, that's been so good. Yeah, very excited for the All-Ireland Championships, in case you haven't guessed. So, yes, 5th of July, I hope that date is already firmly in your diary, and we will see you all in Derry, Londonderry, for the All-Ireland Pipe Band Championships. That's a week-long thing of piping and drumming. What's not to love about that? That's brilliant. So, yeah, again, full credit to the RSPBA Northern Ireland branch, who've done an outstanding job just lining everything up ahead of this event. It's just been fantastic. Well done, everyone there. All right. So, no doubt you will get a full report from the All-Irelands. No doubt we'll probably be talking about it again next week as we're in the lead up to it. But it's very exciting. So, yeah, for all of those details, by the way, go along to rspbani.org for all your information for the All-Ireland Championships. It's shaping up to be a big one, that. Yeah, that's exciting. All right, let's move on. Do you know what, folks? I think we'll wrap it up there at this point. Yeah, enough with the news and updates already. There's been too much, as it is. But, yeah, we didn't even get a chance to talk about, again, the Antrim and Newtownabbey Championships, which are happening this weekend in Antrim Castle Gardens. Yeah, we mentioned it last week, of course. The draw and everything is up there now on the website. You can go and have a read at it. And, yeah, Big Rab Show team will be there, of course, camera in hand, and we will be doing our best to film everything that moves and present it on our YouTube channel, of course. Yeah. And also, we do hope to be competing as well. A good number of us on the team will all be in the circle this weekend, so yeah, hoping to have a good tune as well. So, if you are heading to Antrim this weekend, hopefully we will see you all there for what will be a great weekend of piping and drumming. I have no doubt. And here's hoping this will be the first competition without an absolute deluge of rain. Here's hoping. With a bit of luck. So, yeah, we'll see you all in Antrim. Yeah. And if you do want to keep across all of that, of course, all the details, the live streams, the videos, all be up there now on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook page, and all across the weekend. We'll do our best to keep you covered on everything happening in Antrim this weekend. All right, folks. I think I will swiftly move on because I really want to get into this week's topic of the week because, we're going to be talking to someone who's incredibly busy at the moment. And you're about to find out why. I think it's time for me to go and get a big cup of tea. It's time for the topic of the week.
Ready to take your playing to the next level? Say hello to the ES Session Chanter, the ultimate practice chanter designed for versatility and durability. Crafted from stainless steel and aluminium, the chanter comes equipped for both an A stem and a B flat stem, giving you the freedom to play along with any instrument, anytime, anywhere. Whether at a band practice or a trad session, the ES Session Chanter keeps pace with your creativity. Included with the chanter is the custom carbon carry case, the perfect addition to this compact and tactile instrument. To get yours, head to essessionchanter.co.uk. Kingdom Thistle Pipe Band Supplies for all your pipe band and marching band needs. Supplying everything from uniforms and instruments to custom-designed bass drum heads. They offer it all. Not forgetting their exclusive Kingdom Ghillie Brogues and George Boots, crafted by bands for bands. Kingdom Thistle provides expert product advice and an industry-leading drum refurbishment service to keep your equipment in top-class condition. Also, shipping worldwide. So, stop by their store in Fife or visit them online at kingdomthistle.com for all your pipe band and marching needs.
Hi, this is Anna Smart, and you're listening to The Big Rab Show.
Yes, indeed. Time for topic of the week. And yeah, that cup of tea was well deserved this week. Ooh, well, if you've made it through to this point in the show, yeah, you guessed it. We're about to get talking to Ross Miller. Now, sometimes people say that I'm the busiest man in piping. Now, I politely disagree with everyone who ever suggests that. And that's for good reason, because there are those out there that are incredibly busy. And Ross Miller is definitely one of them. So, I had to take a quick 15, 20-minute chat with him to catch up on just everything that he's up to. And it's a lot. So, let's not waste any more time. Let's welcome Ross to the show. So, welcome to the podcast, Ross Miller. Ross, how are you, mate? Are you well?
I'm very well. Thanks so much for having me on.
Oh, you're very welcome. Now, the reason we have you on is, well, Inveraray District are celebrating quite a special anniversary, and we'll get into that. But you've been quite busy yourself this last while. A tune every day in June. Tell us about this. This is some challenge, man.
Well, I think the key is trying to stay just a little step ahead of yourself. So I thought I'll set myself a challenge and an attempt. I guess the wider goal is to grow my social media engagement and people and things, knowing who I am, but also just to try to make sure I'm playing my pipes and try and kind of think a wee bit outside the box. And I know I'd done my Christmas tunes before and it kind of grew arms and legs a little bit. So the idea with these was that it would just be one tune once through, kind of. And just trying to put a variety of tunes that I know, some that I don't already know, and just trying to kind of do that every day. And I've got a wee bank just to keep me, just in case I've got gigs on and I can't quite do one. But generally speaking, I'm trying to do them kind of a day ahead. Is the idea.
So what's the thought process? And do you have like tunes picked out for each day, or do you just like wing it and like flick through a book and go, oh, that'll do me? But
I got some requests. I asked my social media followers for some requests, so I've actually got more requests than days in the month. So I've been picking some of the requests that I cheekily already knew, and I've maybe learned a couple. And then I've been trying to tie them in with some events. I had my granny's birthday, and I had Father's Day, and like one of the Linlithgow marches is one day, and then that's a tune for, like, there's a specific tune for that and stuff. So I've got a few kind of points, and then I used a Chili's gig and all this kind of stuff last week. So, but it's only the 16th as we record this, and I feel that it feels like there's a long way to go still yet in the month.
That is quite a challenge, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, even practicing for that 20 minutes, half hour every day can be a challenge, but recording yourself and putting yourself out there every day, that's rough too, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really trying to just make it a kind of one-take wonder, but in reality, that's not the case, because you are, as you say, putting yourself on the internet, playing pipes, and everybody can kind of see that. So I feel like there's not really an excuse, but for not being kind of presentable. But I'm trying to take it as not seriously as possible, if I can.
There you go. Well, best of luck with the rest of the challenge. We've been following along. It's been a lot of fun. So, right, let's talk about your gigs aplenty. As you say, you've been real busy with the Red Hot Chilies this last while. You're not too long back from a trip with them, not right?
Yeah, so I've just been, we've just finished our English tour. So with the Chili Pipers, we had, it was 4 weekends in England, and within one of those weekends, there was a weekend of festivals in Scotland as well. So it's been 5 weekends where we've been out, kind of like the weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, all over the place. So there's been a lot of M6 service stations. There's been a lot of M1 service stations, as well. And then, at the end of that, a couple of the guys from the Chili Pipers, although it wasn't actually through the Chili Pipers, a couple of people that I play with in that band, myself, Grant Cassidy, Andrew Broadley, and the kit drummer, Jay Hepburn, we played at Download Festival, with a metal band from Glasgow called Bleed From Within.
Bleed From Within.
It was a bit of a different gig for us. We'd played in Ulverston with the Chili Pipers, and then we went and did that the next day. And it was a brilliant experience. But yeah, I think Grant and Scott Wood had recorded on the Bleed From Within album, and then a couple of the guys did it at the Hydro. They supported Slipknot at the Hydro in December there, and then Scott wasn't able to make it, so I got asked if I was able to cover for him. And yeah, go and play at that festival, which was amazing. We played on the main stage on the Sunday, and I don't know what I was expecting, but it certainly wasn't it to be that busy. And also there was fire, and I think they called it the concussion cannon as well at the end, which I didn't. They never told us that was going to happen either. It was just big explosions as well. So it was a great experience. And we had makeup on, and we had hoods, and we were playing the track. It was a really great experience.
Oh man, for those who haven't seen it, go and check it out. Now, I know there'll be a lot of people listening, and they're not fans of the metal world, and this is quite an extreme band, but man, is this music amazing. And we had it referred to us, we get requests in on Fuse, and they're saying, Rab, you have to play this track, it's amazing. So we played this track once on Fuse, and it was after an MSR by the 78 Fraser Highlanders. You talk about a transition from, that was a great MSR, wasn't that great? Here we are, Bleed From Within. It absolutely blew our socks off. So how did you find the metal audience reacted to bagpipes on such a huge metal stage like that?
They went crazy. There was loads of saltires out of the audience all the time anyway, because the band is really kind of leaning into the fact that they're Scottish. They're using that as an advertising thing, and adding the bagpipes, that really helps. But I think they're doing it in a way that's not kind of cheesy. It's not kind of like, it's not very kind of shortbread tin. It's actually like the melody thing is quite cool, isn't it? It's using a different scale, and a different kind of, it's a different tuning. It was an A as well, which is, it's definitely bagpipes, but it's got a different feel to it. And we also went out into the guest area and the press area, and we played a kind of flash mobby type thing, pipes and drums, around and people were getting photos and stuff. It was amazing. Everyone, you could believe, like the reception, it's the usual thing. The Scots come out of the woodwork whenever you go and they hear bagpipes.
Fantastic. So I have to ask you for some backstagey kind of gossip. Did you manage to meet any like famous rockers and stuff when you were there?
Well, I'm actually, unfortunately, not the guy to ask for that. But no, we did. We saw the Korn, the band Korn were were headlining, and we saw their drum kit, and this thing is like 1 million pieces, and it's massive, and it's got 10 bass drums on it, and all that kind of thing. So that was really cool. But there was like the whole backstage experience was great. Like it was actually so chill. You expect it to be kind of a bit mental, I guess, perhaps, but no, it was super sedate. You know, you could get your hair cut, you could get a tattoo, you could get your nails painted. So obviously, I did them all.
There you go. Yeah. Brilliant. Well, hi, from playing bagpipes to, that'd take you onto the world stage. Honestly, that's fantastic. So you just don't know what opportunities are out there, Ross. Yeah, there you
exactly. Are. Yeah, it definitely wasn't. It was certainly wasn't on my bucket list, but it was certainly a fantastic gig to be a part of. I was really happy for the opportunity.
Oh, fantastic. Well, then I have to ask then about your upcoming gigs. Plenty. You're going to be real busy over the course of the summer then. So tell us about this that you're heading out on now.
Yeah, so I've got some Ross Miller band and trio gigs over the summer. We're starting off at Under Canvas Festival in Inveraray on the 18th of July. That'll be a trio. It'll be myself, Charlie Stewart and Graham Armstrong. That's out in the kind of gardens of the Eden Court Theatre where they have the Northern Meeting. So sometimes it feels like sacrilege to play some traditional music outside the Eden Court. But yeah, that's a great one. We did that last year as well, so that was really nice. And then after that, we're heading to Butte Fest on the Friday the 25th of July, and that'll be a band performance there. And I'm looking forward to that. That'll be my first time at Butte Fest. Yeah.
That's a big gig. That tons of great at that. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be good. So that we're playing the Friday. It's like Friday kind of dinner time, maybe like 5 o'clock or something at that. And then a couple of weeks later, we're playing at Fresh Air Festival in Ayr, and that's on Saturday the 9th of August. And then the following day is the big one. We're playing at Stereo in Glasgow, which will be a full band, all bells and whistles show. We did one in the Hug and Pint last year on the Monday of World's Week, but this year it's on the Sunday, so it's the day after the European Championships at Perth. Yeah, and then we're going to be playing in the Stereo. It's right in the city centre of Glasgow. It's like a kind of great venue. It's a bit bigger than the Hug and Pint. For anyone who was there last year, it was a bit squeezed in. Where we've got a bit, because so many people came, we thought, let's just do it again. So we're going to Stereo. It's going to be fantastic. We've got some special guests and things ready for that. We're going to have a big lighting kind of show. Well, not big lighting show. There's going to be some lights this time. Last time it was on or off. This time we've got some lights, it's small gains, Rab. So, but yeah, I'd really like to encourage any overseas people to come and see. We had some pipe bands came almost en masse last year. So it would be great to see that again. So yeah, that's Sunday the 10th of August. And then after that, we're doing Cowell Games on the Saturday in the Cayley tent, or the live music tent it's called now at Cowell Games, which will be fun because I'm used to doing that with pipe bands, but it'll be fun to be back at Cowell. And then we're finishing with a festival in Belgium on the 14th, and that's that Alden Bison Shots weekend. So there's I think it's the Continental European Championships or something like that. The actual European Championships were there in 2003 or something. Mm-hmm. But it's a competition on the Saturday, and then there's like a kind of Highland Games thing on the Sunday, and we're playing it as part of that. So that'll be fantastic. But yeah, the big one is in Stereo on the 10th of August.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Tons of great reviews following your gig at the Hug and Pint. So many people went following our recommendation, thankfully. And they were all telling me, Rab, what a gig, and we have to go again. So these people are going to be so chuffed that you're back again.
Well, I hope they can come back, and I hope they can buy their tickets in advance, because that's the key. Because it makes me less scared, and it makes me feel like there's going to be people there. Because I can never believe when people come to see a concert I'm putting on. I'd never take that for granted, but also I like to think that people would hopefully enjoy the music, and I would really like them to come along and share the experience with us.
Absolutely. So, Ross, where can folks get the tickets for this then?
So, yeah, it's just on my website, which is www. Do we still use that? I guess rossmillermusic.com, and there's a tab that says gigs, and then there's the Glasgow gig. It's also linked through all my socials. I've got a link tree thing on my Instagram, on my TikTok, on my Facebook. So if you followed me as part of my Tuna Day, you can go and look at that as well. So big picture stuff, That's the idea.
There you go. All connected. It's all connected. So there you go. Well, I have to ask then, we did start this talking about Inveraray District celebrating a huge anniversary this year. Ross, tell us about this.
Yeah, so it's the Inveraray District's 20th anniversary, and I've been lucky enough to be in the band for half that time. I can't believe that. And we're having a party, and I'm on the organising committee for that party, and I can assure you it's going to be a great night. So that's on the 11th of August. So if you're in Glasgow for my gig on the 10th of August, on the 11th of August, we can go along to the Inveraray Pipe Band 20th anniversary ball. And at that, we're going to have a performance from the pipe band. We're going to have a performance from Tom Orr's Ceilidh band. We're going to have a Ceilidh by Tom Orr's Ceilidh band. Yeah. We're going to have a DJ finishing off. There's going to be speeches from Stuart Liddell, from Stephen McWhirter. John Wilson is going to be our fear and tie. We're going to have a 3-course meal. It's going to be a great big shindig. And it's early enough in World's Week that people can come along to that, and you've got time to kind of recover before the business end of the week as well. If you're in town the whole time, or you can go and come back, and it'll be great.
So there's no fear in having a Ribena or two at this one, and you should hopefully feel a bit more sensible come the weekend. Yeah.
Apart from the 4 people playing in the Inveraray Quartet the next day at the Piping Live Quartet competition.
Yeah. Apart from those guys. There you go. So, there's tickets still available for this, Ross, I think. There might be.
Absolutely. Yes. So there's tickets available for that too. It's all on the band's social media again. There's an eventbookings.com page, I believe. But if you search Inveraray and District 20th anniversary dinner on Google, I'm sure you'll get it. Or ChatGPT now, who knows? That seems to be the thing these days.
Indeed, yeah. So, well, for those savvy enough and listening to the show, you might have heard that we announced it on our Fuse FM Ballymoney radio show, and we've announced it just earlier on in the podcast that you might be joining us at Piping Live, Ross.
Yes, well, I've had a lovely invitation through from Rab to ask if I'll play on the Big Rab Show podcast live from Piping Live on the Wednesday. Yes. And I'll be coming to play a couple of tunes, and we'll be having a chat in real life. And I feel like we all never see each other on the internet.
Screens, it's weird. Yeah.
And at the Worlds. We always seem to meet each other at the Worlds as well.
Yeah, so there you go. If you want another opportunity to see Ross in action, well, you can come to Rab Show Live as well. There you go. Excellent.
But I promise it'll not be as good as the gig on the 10th, from my point of view. The whole thing will be fantastic, and you should come to both.
That's it. It'll be all bells and whistles. Yeah, studio. Yeah, absolutely. So, Ross, again, just to remind folk of your website and that, if they want to grab tickets and stuff, give us the address again.
Yeah, so it's rossmillermusic.com.
There you are. Smashing. Ross, thanks so much for joining us on the show this week, and no doubt we'll catch up with you in August then, man. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thanks so much for having me, Rab, and I look forward to seeing you in August, if not before, around the competitions or whatever. And yeah, we'll see everybody then at some various event, the stereo gig on the Sunday, the pipe band dinner on the Monday, or at the Big Rab Show Piping Live thing on Wednesday. That'll be fantastic. I really look forward to it.
Oh, you're a busy man. I don't know. You're busier than me.
Well, I don't know about that. You seem to be here, there, and everywhere as well.
Well, take care, mate. I'll chat to you again. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Cheers, Rab. Thanks so much.
Yeah, what did I tell you? Ross Miller is definitely one of the busiest men in piping, I have to say. Wow, he's got a lot on his plate at the moment. And yeah, a wee sneaky announcement in there that Ross is going to be playing at Big Rab Show Live at Piping Live. Woohoo! Yeah, so as you were hearing earlier, then do make sure and grab your tickets early for it. Yeah, secure your entry into the National Piping Centre. And yeah, that's the first of our lineup announced for Rab Show Live. That's all sorts of awesome. So, yeah, and also all those links and everything that we were chatting about, of course, are in your show notes right now for, the anniversary dinner, for all of Ross Miller's gigs and that are all over the place. He's incredibly busy. All of those links are in your show notes right now. So go and click on them. Yeah, and all that information's there. Okay, folks. Well, that's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Yeah, another one is in the can. And yeah, good luck to everyone if you're competing this weekend. No doubt I will see you all there in Antrim for what will be quite an exciting competition. Yeah, and with a bit of luck, hopefully I'll have the bag under my arm as well and squeaking away through a few tunes as well. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see. Hoping the conditions will behave themselves also. But yeah, if you are going to be competing this weekend, have a good tune, have the best time, and of course we will see you back here again for another Big Rab Show podcast next week, as things are really starting to hot up now in the piping scene. Of course, next week is the All-Ireland Championships, and we'll talk more about that, of course, on next week's pod, as we shape up for one of the biggest competitions here this side of the Irish Sea. Oh, it's gonna be good. Well, until next week, folks, I will see you all in Antrim at the weekend, and I'll see you all back here again next week for even more bagpiping goodness. Until then, all the best. Well, that's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Thanks so much for downloading this week, and a special thank you to our sponsor, G1 Reeds. Played by bands around the world, they are the champion's choice. Check out g1reeds.com for all of your piping needs. Don't forget to check out thebigrabshow.com to be kept up to date with all of the latest news and views from around the piping world. And also, check us out on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can get your hands on tons of extra piping goodness and be a part of the Patreon faithful. So, until next week, folks, we'll see you right here on the Big Rab Show podcast. All the best.